Guys, please tell me how it has been 10 years. This is crazy. So today is the 7th of July, which means 10 years ago I posted my first ever YouTube video, and I genuinely do not believe that fact. I have documented my growth from being 13 years old to now being 23. Everything is on YouTube, everything is documented, and that is insane. For anyone that has stuck with me for any period of time, I love you all. Thank you for sticking with me. Yeah, today's video I just wanted to do a little Q&A, a little catch up, a little update, just chat with you guys because this is a big day. I feel like it's only right to rewatch my first ever YouTube video very quickly.
Do an introduction video. What do I say? It's Anna.
Stop. Why did I say it's Anna? I've never called myself Anna ever. Just like seeing how uncomfortable I used to be on camera. It's so cute.
Whatever you want to call me.
Whatever.
This is a new channel. I'm 13 and I live in Ireland.
How's you doing?
I'm filming a video. Say hi.
Hi.
Baby Niall. Oh my god, I have been doing YouTube for most of Niall's life. Insert picture of Niall now because he is literally like a teenager.
Videos twice a week. Thumbs up this video if you're excited.
Does anyone else hear that I have so much more of an Irish accent in this video? I just completely lost my Irish accent over time. It's kind of crazy.
Bye guys.
10 years ago today. Anyway, today's video, we're doing a little Q&A. I wanted to do a little chat, also just like a little catch up on life in general. I don't really have a plan, to be honest. I did ask you guys to ask me questions on Instagram and here on YouTube. I chose a couple, but we're just gonna be basically chatting. Okay, so I chose a variety of questions. We have some questions about like me being on YouTube for 10 years, but then also some really random ones. But the first one I'm gonna start with is, what would you tell your younger self 10 years ago? So the video that we just watched, like the introduction video, if I could speak to myself right now, what would I say to her? Okay, this is really random, but for some reason, the first thing that comes to mind, what I would say is to stop trying to figure out your life purpose and your long-term plans and what you want to do for the rest of your life and just live your life. Like, I just cannot explain how much time I must have wasted when I was like 14, 15, 16, trying to plan out my whole life, trying to figure out what my purpose is, trying to figure out everything. Like, I think I've always had a problem with over planning and underdoing, but that didn't just start recently. Like, that started when I was 14 years old. Like, at 14 years old, I was already researching what country am I gonna live in, what job am I gonna do. Like, I need to find my purpose, I need to find my ikigai, I need to find something that like fulfills all the different circles of your ikigai. Like, I have always been obsessed with trying to find the answer and wanting to feel in control of my life. And recently, the more I'm living, the more I'm realizing that like the more you try to be in control of your life, the less you enjoy life. Like, you need to live your life day by day, follow your passions day by day. Obviously, you have to be a responsible adult sometimes. I'm not saying completely just live out of the moment, don't think about the future, but there has to be a balance. Like, you cannot plan everything out. You have to live day by day. And when you follow your passions in the moment, they will bring you to options that you may not have even thought would have been an option in the first place. You know, like so many of the things I have done now and places I've traveled and hobbies I've picked up, like before I would have never even thought about them being in my life. Like, I would have never even been interested in that. Whereas nowadays, it's something that is such a huge part of my life. For example, like yoga is a huge passion of mine, and I really want to eventually start regularly teaching. If you told my 13-year-old self that I was going to be teaching yoga, like, I would not have believed you. You just have to live life and just follow your passions day by day, and the answer will come. Next question is, what is the one place that you would really like to experience living in? So I actually have a very specific answer for this. I only have one place that I feel like is left for me to really know where I want to live. I really want to try living in Australia, like really badly, because I honestly feel like I would love the lifestyle there, the mindset there, the people there. I don't think I've ever met an Australian that I haven't gotten along with. Like, I just really want to experience living there. I don't really know where, like I don't know, I've never really researched the different areas, but at the end of the day, I'm open to basically living anywhere. I am still at that point where I don't really have the answers of where I want to settle down in the future. Like, this is definitely an issue of like a third culture kid, because there's nowhere where I really feel at home. Like, quick little get to know me for anyone that doesn't know my background, but I was born in Latvia and I was raised there until I was 8 years old. But since I was 8, we have not lived there. We visit every year, but it really doesn't feel like home. Also, like, I don't speak any Latvian. I grew up in a Russian-speaking town, and nowadays Russian is being spoken less and less. When I go back to Latvia, I actually speak English to everyone. Like, obviously I speak to my family in Russian, but in the shops I speak English, and it doesn't feel like home. It feels like a very close place to my heart, nostalgic, and a lot of memories, but it doesn't feel like that's a place where I would settle down. Ireland, as you guys know, I've spent so much of my life there. I spent 10 years there, and as much as I love it, it also doesn't feel like home. I have some family there, some connections, but it's just not a place where I see myself settling down. Spain, I have a big history with Spain. Like, I had some family living in Spain and we would visit them every single year, and right now Spain is the closest thing I have to home, but still not like 1,000,000% home. So at the moment, I have no idea where I want to settle down. Yeah, I'm kind of open on that. I'm going with the flow of life, just trying to see where like my circumstances take me. But Australia is the one place where I'm like, I actively want to try living there. The next question is, what part of your YouTube journey would you like to relive if you got a chance? So I have had a lot of phases on YouTube, a lot of different interests. So I, at some point, was a study tuber. I think that's when most of you guys found me. Now, I don't really know what I would consider myself. Like, you guys please answer this question for me, because I don't know, like, I don't really have a niche. I would say I definitely make a lot of content in relation to language learning, but I also don't want to be exclusively a language learning YouTuber, because yes, that's one of my interests, but that is not all I am interested in. So at the moment, I'm more of like a language study YouTuber, but for a long time, I was like a high school study tuber, then a uni study tuber. Then there was like a little time in between where I was just didn't know what the heck was going on. I was just like a little bit of everything. But I think the one era of my life where I would like to go back to in terms of YouTube, not in terms of how I felt, but in terms of YouTube, would probably be my uni time. So in terms of how life felt in that moment, yes, it was fun, but also that's probably where I felt the most lost. And like, I just didn't really feel good at that time. So I wouldn't want to go back to that life. But in terms of YouTube, that is the era I would want to go back to, because I feel like there's so much from that era that I didn't film because of how like stressed out and lost I felt. But for example, my time in school, even though I don't have a lot of videos from my time in school, I feel like I have a good roundup of like how that time went. Whereas my uni times, like, I really feel like I captured 10% of my experience. Like, I had so many like mini eras within that uni era that I didn't film, and I guess I have no regrets, but I guess that's the one era where I would probably go back to, because I wish I had filmed a little bit more. It's such a transformative time of your life, you know, like going from teenager to adult, and I feel like that's the time where I kind of fell out of YouTube and I started struggling a lot more with my mental health and stuff, so I don't have as much documented from that time. The next question is, what are your current favorite YouTubers and podcasts that you are listening to? So first of all, Ava Jules, I love her. I honestly feel like I'm late to the game. Like, I have known about her for a long time, but I've only started watching her recently. Love her vlogs. I also recently started watching Salty Cheeks quite a lot, but I mostly only watch her surf related videos. Then I love Margarita Nazarenko. Like, it feels wrong to say her name not in Russian. Margarita Nazarenko. Her videos, it's also her podcast, so this is like a 2-in-1, but like, I think I watch almost every single one of her videos that comes out, or either like I listen to them in podcast form. Damon Dominique, classic, love him. And then also Grace Beverly, I love Grace Beverly. Half of those YouTubers are basically podcasts, so let me see if there's any podcasts that I also listen to that I don't subscribe to on YouTube. Oh, I recently started listening to the Mel Robbins podcast. Honestly, love her, like, love the way she talks about everything, because even if something feels like a really simple point, the way she talks about it is so like inspiring and motivating. So yes. And yeah, I think that is basically it. Those are like the main people that I'm watching these days. Okay, the next question is, where do you see yourself in the next 10 years? So imagine me making a video like 20 years on YouTube. That is actually insane. I don't know if YouTube will still be around then. I hope so. I really love YouTube. Like, I think long form will forever be my favorite. Honestly, I don't have some like intricate, interesting answer for this, but my biggest goal is just to have a big happy family in 10 years. Like, there's not really much else apart from that that I want. I feel like that is my biggest goal in life. And yeah, I feel like in 10 years I would love to be a mom of hopefully 2-3 children. I have no idea, but I don't know, like, I'm excited one day for like mom diaries on YouTube and all of that. But yeah, I don't know, I guess I don't have a really interesting answer. The next question is, what changes have you had in your personality over these years? Oof, oh my gosh, I feel like I have had like a million personalities, and that's normal, honestly. As like a person growing up, you're not expected to just be the same and be interested in the same things all the time. Like, I have had so many phases. For example, when I started my YouTube channel, I was not even a good student. Like I was failing all of my classes. I had no interest in doing well in school. I honestly like could not care less about school. And then I entered another era because I got obsessed with a YouTuber and she got me really into the idea of like studying for uni, and that's kind of how I started StudyTube, and the language learning phase started. Like there has been so many phases, honestly. But yeah, I feel like my personality has changed a lot, but I think every single year it kind of unlocks like a new little layer of myself that I didn't know that I maybe had, and I kind of like it. Like I love watching it back. I think sometimes maybe I do feel embarrassed, like I feel like I'm a really inconsistent person and people must think that I change all the time, but at the end of the day, like that is just how people are, and I would rather change a lot of times and get to know all these different sides of myself rather than stay the same for 10 years, you know? Like if my personality had been almost completely the same over the past 10 years, it would have meant that I just didn't push myself out of my comfort zone enough and I didn't try enough new things. So yes, I have changed a lot many times, but I honestly am very grateful for that, and I need to start being kinder to myself and not like feel embarrassed about that. But yeah. The next question is, what does your ideal day currently look like? So like I just said in the last question, I've been through a lot of phases, and the current phase I'm kind of going through is like a surfing island life. So in the past, I was never interested in an island life. Like obviously I get why people want an island life. I love the beach, I love the ocean, I love the water or whatever. But first of all, most of my fears in the past were associated to the water. Like my biggest fear is drowning, sharks. Like I just naturally am not like an ocean person. I've always been more of like a mountains, river, countryside type of person. I've never really been like a water person. And this is exactly why it's so good to go out of your comfort zone. But one of my friends actually pushed me to come to the Philippines with her and try surfing. And when I started surfing, I started facing my fears in the water, and I actually realized that I love that pace of life. I love island life. I love the ocean when I'm not scared of it. And I feel like now I'm just like unlocking this brand new side of me that enjoys that kind of lifestyle, because before I would have never thought that I would have enjoyed that. Like I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, currently I'm kind of in that like island life era where all I want to do is be by the ocean and surf and be on the beach. And currently my ideal day would look like waking up at around 5 a.m, going on like a little walk before it gets too hot, watching the sunrise, taking the morning really slowly, and then going for an early morning surf while it's still quiet, there's not many people out. Like maybe there's a couple other people surfing on the lineup as well, but they're all morning people, they're all like good vibes. And then if it's like an average day in my life, then I would like go home, do my work, whatever, and then in the evening I can just chill with friends. But if it's like a day off, then I would love to like have lunch with friends, then maybe skate a little bit or like work on my other hobbies. Maybe in the evening like sit down in a cute little cafe and study my languages. Like that, it just sounds like a dream life. But yeah, there's a different version of an ideal day for like every different type of area I would be in. So if you would tell me right now that I have to be in like a city environment, like if I was in Barcelona right now, then my ideal day would obviously look differently, because I'm not going to be surfing in Barcelona, because apparently there's no surf in Barcelona. Like it's just not good. Or if I was in, I don't know, in the countryside in France, like my ideal day would look differently. But right now the island life is really pulling me more than anything. The next question is, what is your biggest challenge with being on YouTube? Like what is something you have struggled with the most throughout this YouTube journey? I think for me, the thing I've struggled the most is having to face my insecurities so directly every single year. Like my insecurities have changed over the years. Like maybe there's some things that I was insecure about 10 years ago that now I would never even think about. But also new insecurities come up sometimes, because like life is not always like this, like it goes like this. And if I wasn't on YouTube, if I wasn't having to film myself all the time, I think it would be a lot easier to kind of like hide in my shell and not have to actually face those insecurities and like be forced to work on them. But because I have to like put myself out there, sometimes it gets hard for me. And that's actually one of the main reasons for my inconsistencies on YouTube sometimes, is because sometimes my insecurities get a little bit too loud. Like just to give an example of a few, I have had times where I like just like the very common insecurity of just like not liking how you look. I have had times where maybe I started filming a video and then I would be watching back the clips and I'd be like, oh my god, I look horrendous, delete, and then that would kind of be happening for a little while and I would kind of fall out of being on YouTube and I would feel really awkward on camera. Other times, like maybe maybe about 2 years ago up until like honestly still now I kind of struggled with this a little bit, but I have an insecurity that I am just like the most boring person alive and nobody's gonna find me interesting and nobody cares about what I have to say, and that also makes it really hard to show up on camera and like talk about things because I feel like nothing I say is interesting, so then like why bother speaking, just like shut up. And I know that those things at the end of the day is just like my critical voice in the back of my head and I shouldn't listen to it, but I think that's what I've struggled the most with YouTube, is I think if I didn't do YouTube I wouldn't have to face those insecurities so like head on, because for example if I didn't feel comfortable with how I looked I would just probably like stay at home and not go out that much and not see people, which at the end of the day like that's not a good thing, that's just like me avoiding my problem. But most of the time I'm forced to face it and I'm forced to kind of get over it, and like it's exposure therapy, right? Like the more I show up the more I'm like, oh my god, it's actually like this insecurity that I have in my head, like it's not rational, like it's understandable, it's valid, but it's just like a critical voice in the back of my head, like I don't actually have to listen to it. Every time I push through that it makes it easier the next time, and then slowly that insecurity kind of like fades away, you know? And yes, sometimes another insecurity then pops up, but again, I'm still evolving through that, you know? It's not just me avoiding my problem, if that makes sense. The next question is, how has your definition of success changed in the past 10 years? It has changed a lot, because I remember 10 years ago, I really had this idea of like, I want to build an empire. Like I want to be like boss woman. I want to have my own business. I want to have like 50 employees. Like I want to build something huge. And I don't really know when that went away. Like I don't know when I stopped wanting that, maybe just like a couple of years ago. But nowadays, like I honestly, if it happens, it happens. Like if it's out of the pure energy of creation and curiosity and wanting to try something, then like sure, fine. But I don't necessarily have that goal of building an empire and like working really hard and being like a boss woman. Like for me, having your own family and having a slow life is also boss woman, you know? Like at the end of the day, whatever you do that makes you happy, that is a boss woman. So yeah, I guess my definition of success changed in that way, because before, like maybe when I was 14 years old, I would not have said that having a family is successful. Like I would have been like, yeah, but that's just what everyone does. But just because that's what everyone does doesn't mean that that can't be your version of success, you know? Like nowadays, like I said, my version of success is just having the slowest life I could possibly have and to spend as much time with family. And yeah, I guess before, my version of success always had something to do with like achieving career/business goals, whereas now my version of success doesn't really have career stuff related. It's more like just quality of life and relationships and family. The next question is, what is your favorite place you've ever lived in and why? It's a little difficult to give an objective answer for this because I have not actually like properly lived in many places. Yes, I'm in a digital nomad era where I'm moving around every couple of months and I say like, oh, I'm living in Indonesia, I'm living in the Philippines. And that is to some level true because I spend months there. Like it's not just kind of being on holiday for a couple of weeks. Like I have my routine, I'm there for months. Like Indonesia, I was there for 8 months. So I would definitely say that that's like living there, but also I wasn't actually officially living there. Like it's not like I had like an official residence. I didn't actually have my roots down. So I can't give a super objective answer, but I have two. Barcelona is hands down my favorite city that I've lived in. And it's the place in Europe where I'm most likely to settle down, but probably not in the city center. Like in the past, I was living in the city center of Barcelona. I don't really want to live in a city. Like the more I'm growing older and older, the more I realize I do not want to live in a city center. I do want to be close enough that I can drive like maybe 45 minutes and have everything that I need, but I would rather live like in the mountains or in the countryside, but still have access to like a big city. But if I include all the places I've ever stayed in, like for more than a month, then I would say my next favorite would be the Philippines. So specifically Siargao. I've only been in Siargao, but I was in Siargao for 3 months earlier this year and I'm going back there really soon. But honestly, I think the reason that that was one of my favorite places is because out of all my years of traveling, that is where I have felt the most community in the longest time. Like, I don't know, even in Barcelona, for example, I loved Barcelona with my whole heart, but I wasn't able to really find my community there. I did have some really close friends that are like super close to my heart that I met kind of in the end of my time living there. But when I was living there initially, I really didn't have like a community. I didn't really have like a good group of friends. I was with my cousin all the time, which I loved because she was living there at the time as well. But in the beginning, like in my first first year of living there, I didn't really have any friends. So even though I loved the city, I think it could have been 10 times better if I had community. But yeah, Philippines, I think out of all my times traveling, that is a time where I kind of felt the most community and like connected to everyone. And yeah, those would probably be my 2 favorite places I have lived in recently. So the next question is, what is something small that's been bringing you a lot of joy lately? Honestly, walking. I know that sounds like such a basic answer, but for the past 2 months, I've been walking like 15 to 20,000 steps a day on average. And sometimes that takes like 3.5 hours. And I love it. I don't think I've ever enjoyed walking so much. Like, I just listen to my podcasts, I do my Anki flashcards, I reply to my friends. Like, it's just such a good time. And yeah, I don't think I've ever enjoyed it. However, the last like week, 2 weeks, it has been getting very hot in Spain, like very, very hot, very quickly. So I'm starting to enjoy that a little bit less. In Philippines, I really want to make a big habit of waking up really early and walking because I want to maintain this walking habit. But because it gets so hot throughout the day, it has to be early in the morning. So yeah. Okay, the next question is, what inspired you to start a YouTube channel? So some of you guys know the story already because I've shared that a lot of times, but I used to be a huge fangirl, specifically Ariana Grande for a very long time, but then also like BTS, K-pop, just like I was always a huge fangirl and I loved running fan accounts. Like, it was my hobby for years. Running fan accounts on Instagram, on Facebook, everywhere that you could basically run a fan account, I have had a fan account. And like, I cannot, to someone who has not had a fan account for someone else, I cannot explain what it's like. But when I was 13, it was like a hobby. Like, there was so much you could do. We were playing games, we were doing all these edits, like commenting things. Like, it was so fun. It was honestly so fun. And yeah, at the time when I started my YouTube channel, I had so many Ariana Grande fan accounts. I had one that was like at 20,000 followers, I think. Like, I really was spending so much time. Like, 20,000 followers in 2015 on YouTube for a fan account was like not big, but like I really spent all of my time on these fan accounts. And because of that, I learned how to edit and I learned kind of the basics of social media, I guess. Not really, but like kind of. And yeah, I started doing video edits of Ariana Grande, and I don't know, that kind of just like sparked an interest. And at the time, my cousins and I used to always joke. We used to say, like, when we were little, when we were like 10, 11 years old, we used to always say like 1,000,000% we're gonna be famous. I don't know how, but I feel it. Like, I feel it deep in my soul. I'm gonna be famous. And at the time, we were kids, we wanted to be like actresses and singers and whatever. But I think like I started my YouTube channel when I was 13, and I think I was still kind of in that phase where I was like, I want to be famous, I want people to know me. But yeah, I think that combination of knowing how to edit and that being one of your biggest hobbies, and then also like as a 13-year-old really wanting to be famous, like that combination kind of led me to YouTube. And also like I was a huge YouTube watcher, specifically like the UK YouTubers like Zoella, Alfie Days, also like Bethany Moda. Oh my god, OGs. Like I was watching every single one of their YouTube videos, and at the time they were all doing like TMI tag and morning routine and all these things, and I just was obsessed with YouTube and YouTubers in general, and it just kind of led me to starting my own channel. And yeah, here we are 10 years later, still here. I honestly love YouTube. Like I said, it's just forever gonna be my favorite platform, and I'm so freaking grateful for every single opportunity that it has given me and every single connection that I've made from YouTube. Like, all of my closest friends I probably would not have met if I didn't do YouTube. And just like connecting with some of you guys, honestly guys, those of you that comment regularly, I know every single one of your names. Like, I recognize you when I heart your comments. Like, it doesn't just, you know, go out of my head. I recognize so many of you, and I just wish I could just meet every single one of you and give you guys a hug. Like, I don't know, that's another reason why I'm just like extra excited for this Bali girls trip, is because I'm literally getting to meet some of you guys and just enjoy Bali with you. And yeah, I'm really freaking excited. And yeah, I'm very grateful for every single one of you guys watching. But yeah, I think this is where we're gonna end our Q&A. I have been recording for so freaking long, but again, thank you guys so much for watching. I don't even know what to say. Like, 10 years just sounds insane to me. So I love you all. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Here's to another 10 more years. Bye.